Happy Monday, everyone. Hopefully you're having a pretty good start to the week.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I think so.
Okay, well,
I am. Are you?
We are. You know, it's a Monday, so we're just easing into the week.
That is true. That is true. It is. Well, it's an exciting Monday. I'm going to be honest for Studio 10 because it is. We are getting back on air, but even better, it's a beautiful start to the week because Tessa, our very own Tessa's birthday is today. The big 26. Yes. So happy birthday to her. You've seen her around getting video, editing. It's great. We love having coworkers that are able to shine both in front and behind the camera. But yeah, she's very talented. We're glad to have her on our team. So definitely a big happy birthday to her. But a big, happy Studio 10 is back on air. The Olympics has been so much fun to watch. And we're so excited to recap it today on Studio 10. But also, we're just excited that we can be on air now that the Olympics are done.
True. It's been a little weird without you guys.
Yeah, exactly. So we're ready to dive right in. We'll have that kind of Olympic recap, like talking about, the highlights, what came out of it, what we hope to see for LA 2028, because
countdown begins.
Yes, yesterday with the closing ceremonies, it just gets you that excitement, that fuel that it's going to be on our home turf in 4 years. So definitely pumped for that.
And they're already preparing.
Oh, yeah, they are. I mean, even when I visited LA in 2022, and I've got a tour of SoFi Stadium, and they were like, yeah, we're doing this and this and this for the Olympics. And that was in 2022.
Oh, wow.
I know. And they're like, this is where this Olympic Village will be. This will be this. Oh, okay, cool.
Takes years to plan.
Seriously, though. So we're definitely going to recap that. We'll also kind of give you a recap of what we've been working on for Studio 10 and what's been airing on the 11 and the 4 p.m. Show that, was on that different channel.
Yeah.
Throughout it, so we'll kind of highlight that because it's always good to kind of just do a little recap to jump right back in. And then, since we are speaking of jumping in, we're jumping back into school.
Oh, yes.
I know, which and I'll be the first one to admit that I hate saying back to school in August because we have such limited summers here. So I just feel bad that these kids have to go back to school, but it is a thing. And the good thing is that our community is rallying and finding all of these great resources and school supplies for the kids. So there is going to be a backpack drive-through presented by TechSmith and Communities in Schools. So we're going to have Michelle from TechSmith stopping by today on Studio 10, talking a little bit about the why behind this and giving back to the community and how other people can do it too. And then, of course, the information how you can get a backpack if you need it, because I love school shopping, and I would circle things in different ads when I was growing up, and I'm like, Mom, we gotta go here, but it's expensive, and it's just gonna get more and more expensive. So it's good that we have these opportunities for those.
The kids get excited, but the parents is coming out of your wallet. So
yes. Definitely. So definitely look forward to that. And not only is it Tessa's birthday, not only is it Monday, but it's also National Vinyl Record Day.
Ooh.
Yes,
and those have become really popular.
Yes, you have a vinyl record, a record player.
My brother has one.
Okay.
So now anytime I see a cool record, I just buy it for him and go, here, play it.
Yes, my dad has one, and it's really cool to see. And we are so lucky that we have the Record Lounge in Rio Town. So we're stopping by there, learning a little bit about, how to take care of vinyl records, why we're seeing this uplift or this uptick in popularity and all that kind of stuff. So
that's
definitely,
fun.
tune in for that. And literally tune in because you get some tunes. Puns are coming back full force. On
She's ready.
Yeah. So we have that, and I'm trying to think of what else. We have that. Oh my goodness, golly, I just.
Well, you haven't been here in a while, so.
Yeah, no, I think that's about it. I mean, yeah, I really do think that is about it, which doesn't. Yeah, that's about it.
You covered a lot.
We did, and we're just excited just to be back, and you'll never know what kind of shindigs we'll have, but throughout the show.
We're looking forward to it, Nicole.
I know. Tomorrow will be a good one. We have a lot of guests coming in tomorrow. If you really want to tease, we got Miss Michigan and Miss Teen USA coming. So that's tomorrow.
All right.
That I do remember.
All right.
Yeah. It's going to be a great show. Definitely tune in to get some records.
Get some records, your Olympic updates, or a little recap. All right.
Yeah, Studio 10.
Chris says, good afternoon from East Lansing. Hello,
Yes.
Chris. Question.
You will, yes, we will be on today at 3 p.m.
Okay, never mind. I thought he was talking about a question that you guys asked 2 weeks ago.
Oh, will my question be on today at 3 p.m.? I got to figure out what question that is and let us know what question it was, and then we can probably have it, because our viewers were awesome, because we were asking such fun questions when we were on kind of off air, and we had a lot of responses. So let me know what that question is, and then we can put it on our show hopefully this week.
All right,
Yeah,
sounds good. Well, there you go, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. I think today we're answering the one of like, which Olympic sport do you think you could do? Yeah.
Do it well? I don't know.
I don't know. I want to learn
Just
how to
to
do
do
the
it?
high jump. That looks insane. Or like the pole vaulting. Like what?
My brother, great pole vaulter back in high school. I don't know how you do it.
I like physics does not compute up there for that.
You
But
like the
I
ab
was amazed.
strength.
Jaw on the ground for all that. But anyway. The rugby was also really cool. We are going to do a story with the Lansing rugby team.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I got to go to a practice. It was intense. Can you imagine? But anyway, Studio 10, 3 o'clock. We're excited to be back.
Be there, be square, people. All right, thank you, Nicole. Here's where you can watch Studio 10, all the fun. And of course, if you're like Chris and want to know what that question is and what will be answered here, the behind the scenes gets a little chaotic sometimes. But you get to look at this put together full screen in the meantime. But yes, thank you, Justin. He helped me move my box. I was struggling. WILX Studio 10, that's where you want to go for their social media handles. Otherwise, their email, studio10@wilx.com. Always great to find things on there. And let me just take you to YouTube real quick. That way, if you want to find Studio 10, let me show you how we punch in their little social media handle here. Okay, so WILX Studio 10, there we go. Let me punch it over here. Just do that, click on here, and then you get to see, the home page, all their videos, and all of their playlists. So even though, they were on News 10 Today at 11 and First at 4 within the past 2 weeks because of the Paris Olympics, you can still see that they were working on a bunch of stories within that time. Great stuff for any inspiration across mid-Michigan, Cole's Crafts, Rochelle's Recipes, anything going on in the community, make sure to check out Studio 10. But we're bringing in Justin because we're back to sunshine this week.
We are, yeah, got some good weather. We had some over the weekend, but the numbers are a little cooler. We were only about 71 on Saturday, which tied last Tuesday when we were under the clouds and rain for the coldest day since June.
Felt like fall.
Did feel like fall. A little bit of that feel, especially waking up in 50s, only barely scraping 70s. We did a little better yesterday, mid-70s, but again, still didn't have that true summer-like feel. I think we sort of have that a bit more these next couple of days, including this afternoon. But yesterday was another anniversary we marked here in mid-Michigan. That was of the Perry tornado last year, which fortunately did not result in any fatalities, which is always the most important thing. But it did cause a little bit of damage here in one mid-Michigan community, which we've highlighted throughout the past 2 days here on our newscast, and we'll continue to do so, so hopefully you tune in for that. I did want to briefly touch on the Perry tornado because this white line represents the path it took from touchdown to lift up, and it was an EF1 classified tornado with winds of 95 miles per hour. It was on the ground for a duration of 3 miles. It started just west of I-69, made its way across the highway, and then took out, actually, about halfway through its path, ironically, one of the tornado sirens in the Perry area. There are 2 sirens. One of them went off. The other one was taken out. And so, unfortunately, that meant that it didn't really serve its purpose, but they're looking to restore that. And again, this lasted about 12 minutes total. The actual tornado within the town of Perry was about, I'd have to estimate within the town itself, maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and that's it. But, of course, time almost sort of stands still for the folks who are dealing with that and were there at that time, so certainly could make it feel a lot longer. But it's amazing how quick these go through a community, what kind of destruction, devastation they can leave. At its widest, it was 430 yards wide, and so that's more than the length of 4 football fields going across. And so, again, EF1 tornado, this is one of the weaker ones on the scale. We don't normally get ones much stronger than this. One such example was the tornado in the Williamston-Weberville area, which will be coming up on that 1-year anniversary in less than 2 weeks here, and certainly we'll have a lot more to discuss with that. So again, fortunate that they're able to recover in Perry from all that. We've got a decent afternoon ongoing. Capital City Skycam out there on our Meridian Company Skycam network shows the fair weather clouds. It's 77 degrees, got a light wind. Humidity still low, and so we're enjoying that, but it's all pop-up fair weather variety clouds today. The numbers are 76 for Jackson and St. John's, 78 in Mason, Adrian has made it to 80 degrees. I think a lot of us will come really close to that number before the day is done. The big deal across the area is it's just pleasant weather pattern that's settled in. You see that we've got cooler air to the east in Buffalo and west in Des Moines. That's where they're dealing with a couple of rain showers, but we have the pleasant pattern parked right over the Great Lakes, and so that's boding really well for us here in this forecast. Just means that we get to enjoy some more really nice weather, and it's not exclusive to us. Chicago, Green Bay, Alpena, even Marquette in the UP, everybody's mid-70s to near 80, and so we're having a really nice Monday here in mid-August. Now, the hour-by-hour temperatures, I do think the next 2 hours here we'll see our high of about 80 degrees, probably peaking between 3 and 4 o'clock, and then we'll slowly start to slide back down. By the time the sun sets this evening, close to 8:40, 8:45, we should have numbers pretty close to 70 and then down into the 60s overnight. The skies, though, are staying fairly clear in most spots. Satellite radar, other than the clouds that have flared up and maybe a brief sprinkle that you see in very far and away locations, we just have a pretty nice day again, continuing on, expected to continue. There's just the showers to our south and west near St. Louis are staying that way. The ones off near Toronto and Buffalo are staying that way. So right in the middle, we've got a nice avenue here to enjoy some of the pleasant weather. So that in mind, I know last night there were lots of folks who saw this. I was one of them after I left work. The Perseid meteor shower. Now that's in its peak area right now, and so that's going on. It has a rate of about 100 meteors per hour. And again, this is right around its time of its peak. Visibility has been pretty good for these in the overnights as we lose the daytime cloud cover that has been popping up. I think tonight's fairly similar. I would encourage folks who are trying to catch a glimpse of this, wait until after the moon set. I believe officially that's around 10 after midnight, but you get close to midnight, maybe venture out, you might catch the moon looking really cool, maybe with a yellow hue low on the horizon as it fades in the western sky. Then give your eyes just a little time to adjust. You should be able, I would think, to see at least a couple of meteors out there if you're away from any of the natural or any of the light pollution outside of the city lights. That should be good for most folks. And so Perseid meteor showers should have another good viewing for it tonight when we're not seeing the clouds out there. I do expect visibility to be pretty good. And who knows, maybe you catch another surprise show from the Northern Lights. I know a few folks were able to catch that yesterday. Now in this area, it's kind of tough to see them with the naked eye. You could get them with a camera lens a little better. But if you went not too far to the north, I know they had much better pictures, and those ones were visible to the naked eye. So it's possible, you never know, we could see something like that tonight. We'll be sure to let you know if we see anything. Now the hour by hour, as we mentioned, model overdoes it a little bit as far as the intensity of rain. Could pop a stray sprinkle this evening, but most of us just remain dry and under a mix of sun and clouds. We'll go back to mostly clear to partly cloudy overnight, bottoming out right around 57, 58 degrees. Our Tuesday, again, while starting in the 50s, is going to get back to near 80 degrees. We do that with more afternoon sunshine, as you see here. I do think the rain's going to stay out of the forecast, and that's something that we'll repeat again headed out into Wednesday. So things looking pretty good for us here around mid-Michigan. So the 10-day forecast now brings us to 83 Wednesday. Thursday, that's when the clouds start to build back in. So if you're enjoying the sunshine or the partly cloudy skies, you got today, tomorrow, Wednesday to do that. Thursday, we're going to deal with the clouds quite a bit more. And then Friday, we'll deal with showers and thunderstorms moving back in. And that's probably a pattern that lasts into the weekend too. Next week, we go back to dry weather. Although the temperatures not low 80s like we have this week, they're going to be mid to upper 70s. So not too far off, but a little more of that transitional type weather. I do think that most of this month is going to be right around that as we get towards the back half of August. It does look like September's still looking above normal, even if just by a little bit for us. And I know Nicole had mentioned, we don't like talking necessarily back to school when it's August. Kind of gives you a funny taste in the mouth. I have to say, and I'm sure it's true for maybe another district or two in the state, but Weberville Public Schools, they went back today, August 12th, their first day back to school. My wife works in the district out there on 2 days a week, and so they went back today. The teachers reported last week to go and get everything ready, and so back to school is already back for some people. And so while it seems early to talk about, since there are a lot of folks who wait until closer to Labor Day or even after Labor Day to go back in session, there are some folks who are already there. Now, before you feel too bad for them, they did get out of school much earlier than most other districts. And so, I mean, it was end of May by the time they were all done. And so a lot of them didn't have to go to school in June, and if they did, it was for the first few days. Whereas,
give and take.
Yeah, and so there is a give or take there. I don't know which I'd prefer, to be honest. I grew up in a school system where we always went back after Labor Day, but then we went until like mid-June. So it was like, And by mid-June, you wanted to be done. And then it was kind of nice to have, you know, you got to do your last-minute summer plans to the unofficial end of summer of Labor Day and then go back after that. I don't know. I always preferred that. I don't know if it's personal preference because that's what I came up with at Livonia Stevenson, but that's just kind of how our district calendar went. And so I know that there are pros and cons to all the different calendars. I just think August is such a great weather month in this state. It almost feels like a shame to be in school, but I'll get off my soapbox. That's my personal opinion. Learning's very important, so is education, and so that's something to enjoy. But I think, you know, being able to enjoy the nice weather in this state's important too. So the blend, I don't know.
Just kind of depends how the weather is when, you know, May, June, and then
of
August for all those students.
Yeah, because sometimes start of June you can still have a little bit of some gloomy weather, and so I didn't mind if we were, of course you can have great weather too, but I never minded the first 2 weeks of June still kind of lingering around in school and then having a little extension at the end of summer, but it's easy to say that when you're not out of school on June 1st and everyone else is still there. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Forecast looks, once again, pretty good here the next couple days and then the late week rains. I did want to mention real quickly, and I didn't pull the graphic up. I wish I had thrown it in there.
That's all right.
But last night I showed a graphic that just talked about rainfall for our area. So since June 1st, and I know these numbers because I put them in last night, but Jackson has received 17.65 inches of rain since June 1st. Now that's compared to a normal that's just over 8. So we're more than double the rainfall since June 1st versus average in Jackson. The Lansing area hasn't seen quite as much, but still 12.2 inches since June 1st. That's over a foot worth of rain compared to an average that's under 8 inches.
Yeah.
So Lansing about 1.5 times the rainfall it normally receives since June 1st. Jackson's more than double. So we're not hurting for water in the ground. Certainly there are no drought concerns. We don't have any big flooding right now, which is good because we haven't had any huge rains since last week, and even those ran off pretty nicely. But we're not necessarily hurting for the rain, I guess is what I'm saying. So it wouldn't be the worst thing if we got a couple extended dry stretches for us. We certainly don't need a lot of rain. I don't foresee this weekend as being a huge, major rainmaker, but the opportunity for rain will be there just about every day, Friday through the weekend. And so we have lucked out. I want to say like the last 4 weekends have all been beautiful across the state. Going back into July and now these first 2 weekends of August have been really good too. Not to say that this is going to be a bad weekend upcoming, but I think the chances for rain being on each day going to make it not as ideal a weekend as some of the previous ones we've had. So don't necessarily cancel plans that you have for Saturday, Sunday, but just keep an eye on the forecast throughout the week as it evolves. You know, maybe Saturday ends up being a little more rain and Sunday it fades out. Maybe the opposite's true. We're going to keep you up to date in the First Alert forecast. First Alert Weather App's a great place to go to get that info when you can't get it on air, online, or on all our other social channels. And once again, it's absolutely free in Google Play and the App Store. And so, First Alert Forecast, we're going to have more updates coming for you coming up now that we're back to your regularly scheduled programming post-Olympics during Studio 10 at 3 o'clock, first at 4, and then, of course, our 90 minutes of news with Andy Provenzano. In the meantime, wow, I'm going to be enjoying that weather patio today. It's been a while. We took a little time off since Studio 10 wasn't on the air. I wasn't out there, and, man, we had some good weather late last week. I would have enjoyed being out there. At least I'll be able to do that, I think, these next couple afternoons. So I'm looking forward to that very much. And then, of course, first at 4, where we'll discuss it a little further. Yeah,
there you go. Well, we're excited to see you out on the weather patio because that means it's nice outside. So I'm looking forward to that. All right.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be good.
It will be good. We'll see you then.
Yeah, sounds good. Cool.
Studio 10, like Justin was saying and like Nicole was saying, is back. So make sure you're tuning in at 3 o'clock today. I know Chris was asking a couple of questions about that. So in just over half an hour, get your remotes ready, punch it into Studio 10, and you're good to go.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll see you then. Look forward to it.
All right, we'll see you then, Justin. Thank you. One more time, here's where you can catch Studio 10 coming up at 3 o'clock today. You can look more into that First Alert forecast with Justin Bradford, and then he will be back for First at 4, so make sure that you are tuning into that. And one last thing that I'll make mention of here is Justin was talking about how we're back to our regular programming. There we go. So Studio 10's on at 3. You will catch First at 4 at 4 o'clock. However, First at 4 is back to a half-hour newscast, and so is News 10 today at 11. We had some of those changes, but I will not mention those just in case I confuse anybody. So News 10 today at 11. First at 4, News 10 at 5, 5:30, and Jeopardy. We won't forget about that. They're back on our 10.1 channel. I'm not going to not going to say the other one so I don't throw you off, because it would throw me off as well. But the other ones are, those newscasts were on separate channels because of the Olympics, but we are back on 10.1. So if you have any family, friends, that they just want to know what's going on, move them back to 10.1 and you catch the very latest right here on News 10. So just wanted to let everyone know about those readjustment changes. We're heading back to originally planned. But I'm going to show you what we have coming up today on Mid-Michigan Matters for First at 4, and then sharing what we have throughout our 90 minutes of news. So happening today, or I should say happening Wednesday, there is a walk and roll-a-thon with Origami Rehabilitation. It is the first one that they're hosting. But they're really here to help support crash survivors, anyone who is catastrophically injured during any sort of auto incident. And so Michigan's 2019 auto no-fault reform has impacted a lot of those survivors and getting certain rehabilitation services and other care to help them throughout this time. So we're bringing in Origami Rehabilitation to share how they, as a center, are helping those get the services that they need to improve and get back to their daily life, but also sharing how the community can step up and walk, roll, run this Wednesday and support those crash survivors. So we're going to be sharing more today coming up on Mid-Michigan Matters. And then coming up News 10 at 5 today, Deanna Giles is on a story about Mics Up, Guns Down. So it's a plan to keep kids away from violence by getting them interested in the music and recording industry instead of violence. This is a newer program, and so Deanna Giles will share more on that coming up today on News 10 at 5. And then coming up News 10 at 5:30, Aaron Bowling is on a story on how social media, or using social media influencers to use their influence to help local businesses. So I'm sure if you've been on TikTok, if you've been on social media, Instagram, X, Facebook, you're seeing these different social media influencers well, doing their job, influencing, right? It's right in the name. How they are influencing other people in the community to go out to these different events or going out to these different stores. And right, they're hyping up whatever it may be that they're talking about, whether it's a product, event, they're advocating for something. So in this case, it's for local businesses. So Aaron Bowling will be sharing more on that coming up today on News 10 at 5:30. And then we have Mars Anderson coming up News 10 at 6. He is sharing a story on school bus safety. Of course, we're talking about all the students getting ready back for school, so we're going to be sharing more into that. Instead of me talking about it, I'm going to send it over to Mars so you know what is happening here. So we're going to send it over to Mars Anderson. Coming up today, News 10 at 6.
Hi, Taylor, Mars Anderson. I am just about to head to Dean Transportation to talk about safety, and we're talking, of course, bus safety. School bus safety. We know that some schools have started school today, and we have some starting school as the weeks go on. And so what should drivers know when heading out, considering those school buses taking kids to and from school? I'll have those details during our 90 minutes of news.
All right, thank you, Mars. Coming up for News 10 at 6, sharing more on school bus safety. What do you do as a car or another vehicle when you see a bus, especially when it's stopped, picking up students, dropping them off? What do you need to do to ensure their safety, ensure your safety and everyone else who is sharing the road? So he's going to have more coming up today, News 10 at 6, and speaking with Dean Transportation on what you all need to know. So I believe that is it. Let me pull up our You're Not Alone mental health series. If you need any of those resources, we have them for you right here. And it brings you to our website, wilx.com, where you can see multiple different resources across Mid-Michigan from these mental health care professionals who are ready to see you, provide guidance, advice, support, just be there and listen to you for anything that you have going on. If you want to vent, if you just want some sort of guidance, or just have someone who's, in your corner and helping you understand the emotions that you're feeling and knowing that what you're feeling is valid, and just learning how to manage your emotions and learning where to go from there. So know that you're not alone. We have those resources out there for you. Again, just bring out your cell phone's camera, scan that QR code, and it'll pull up a link to our website, wilx.com, where you can find more of those mental health care resources. So again, go ahead and check that out. Otherwise, that's about it that we have here on News 10. Let me just scroll through and make sure I'm not missing anything. Just one more time, those programming changes. We are back to our normal programming. So 10.1, make sure you are tuning in. And one more time, News 10 today at 11 and First at 4. They're back to a half-hour newscast. We are no longer doing the hour-long newscast because of the 2024 Paris Olympics, now that those have come to a close. And now we're looking ahead to the 2028 Olympics, which is right here in the USA. In Los Angeles, so that is looking pretty cool. But one more time, let me show you the 10-day forecast. I know there have been some changes compared to last week, so I mean that's how the weather is. It is continuously changing, so we're going to continuously update you on those changes. But yes, this is your 10-day forecast. These next couple of days are looking beautiful to get outside, so make sure you are doing so, taking advantage of that. Like we've been mentioning, school has started for some students, so I know you probably want that last bit of summer feel. Make sure you're heading outside. Do your homework outside, you know? Get together with your friends, maybe play some basketball, do any sort of sports, go for a walk, a run, anything that you're feeling. This is a live look right now over Delta Township, and you're seeing some of those blue skies, still some of those clouds in the sky as well, but as you heard Justin talking about, we're going to have nice weather here for the next couple of days. It should stay pretty dry. You are seeing more of those clouds up in the sky in downtown Jackson, but you still are seeing the blue, so don't worry about that. And again, just an overall good feeling day here. I know that Chris Schultz is joining us, so Chris, here you go. Your live look over Michigan State University. And I do have to mention, anytime that's nice and sunny over East Lansing, this sky cam just looks so vibrant, and especially when you're looking at the engineering building right there on MSU's campus. It's got that nice pop of orange. You got the trees that are just nice and green. And of course, you have that beautiful blue sky with that contrasting white clouds. So painting you a little picture here of what you're seeing on our sky cams. But that is everything we have coming up today on News 10. I'm going to stop talking so you can get ready for Studio 10, which is back today at 3 o'clock in just under half an hour here. So make sure you're tuning in. But other than that, we hope you have a great rest of your Monday, and thanks for joining.